Alright. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Hope everybody is doing well. Not coming on here. Let's wait till this starts up here. Okay, I apologize for not coming on here and releasing the rest of Nehemiah to you. Life got in the way, the day escaped me, and there was no more time for me to service you as normal. But we have plenty of time this morning, so I'm excited to get into that next section. And without further ado, let's go ahead and start out with our daily message in the Quran. And let us begin. Let's see, I always say let's see what the Quran has to say, but it's really let's see what God himself has to say. As we know, if you don't know this already, the Quran was narrated by Angel Gabriel, and it was spoken directly to Prophet Muhammad. Now, Prophet Muhammad was not literate, I guess that's the right word, but he didn't read or write, so he actually had memorized parts and had recited back to those companions around him who could read and write, and that's been compiled over quite some time. I mean, imagine, taking the time and reading this whole thing and committing to memory and re-reciting. It did become compiled after some time to the book that we have today. So when I say let's see what the Quran has to say, it's really let's see what God has to say. So I hope that's clear. I just wanted to clarify that little tidbit there. All right, let us go ahead and begin. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Right, my thumb is on the bottom. Alright, just a short and sweet little verse, really confirming once again what we went over yesterday. Excuse me, I have the children running around being crazy this morning, getting out all that energy. Alright, this is from Surah 36, Yasin. And with this, again, like Taha, there is no translation chapter in the Quran. I didn't know we've read this one before. To say this was a name. Oh yeah, this was one of those weird ones. Okay. The meaning of the letters Yasin, while being primarily unknown, is debated amongst religious academics. One of the interpretations is, "O human being," referring to Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so very interesting how Yasin actually is spectated to mean human being. I feel like we've gotten some other descriptions of this as well. But it's unknown, but more so an identifier, okay? An identifier, how do we say, like a pronoun, I guess, like he, she, instead of he, she, it's human being. So I'm just going to leave that there, and we're going to read the last line since my thumb was on the very bottom of the page, at the very end of the surah. And this is line 83, and it reads, "So glory to him in whose hands is the dominion of all things, and to him will ye all be brought back." Great. So in this, it is clear, right, that this is a narration from Angel Gabriel, because he's saying glory to him. If God was talking about himself, why would he use those words? But it is a narration from the angel. Just explaining things. This is simply just an explanation in the best words that could have been described in Arabic at the time. This is the best explanation, and we talked about why we look to God is because he had sent these signs, and it is confirmed again and again within the Quran. Ask somebody, demand somebody to go ahead and create another surah like this. See if they can do it. And with the intention that if somebody were to do it, it would be very hard for them to recreate or replicate or forge. That's the word that is often used, or to forge a surah like this one. Because when people had this presentation, of course there was disbelief when Prophet Muhammad started explaining how he got a hold of these recitations. There was a lot of what's the word that we were using? Suspicion, right? They didn't believe him. They say, oh, you guys just created this. But something that I do like about the Quran is that, among other things, is that it's very similar in language. Okay, you can tell that it was spoken or written by one being, which would be Prophet Gabriel, Angel Gabriel. Alright, sorry, I was just making sure I wasn't misnaming the angel, but yes, it was Angel Gabriel, the same angel that appeared to Mary. So he is one of those very infamous messenger angels, given a name much like the names that we use here on earth, so it's easy for us to relay and remember. But anyways, where was I going? There was a lot of disbelief with this, but they said, go ahead and try to create something like this. Create a surah like this. The language is very similar. The themes repeat themselves in different ways. There's a lot of wisdom that a lot of people were not aware of at that time, but now it makes sense. But at that time, the wisdom that was revealed was pretty new, in a sense. It did confirm a lot of what the Romans experienced through Christ. Okay, through Christ, it confirms Christ, it confirms Mary, it confirms Abraham, it confirms Noah. Everything that was written as a Torah was carried through and confirmed, except for a few things when it comes to Christ's crucifixion, resurrection. What else? The fact that he was the Son of God. In that time, he called himself the Son of God, but that wasn't necessarily biologically correct or something that we should even be saying. He's just more so the messenger and the prophet that was sent. And Jesus was using that term as like an endearment. If I am God's son, we are all God's sons. That type of language. But I'm sure we'll talk about that a lot more once we especially get into the into the gospel, right? We'll talk about that a little bit more, and we'll see if we can notice the differences now that we have this knowledge. So, and to him we will all be brought back. To him will ye be all brought back. Okay, so this is just a message of reassurance to not worry, to not stress. Okay, there's a lot going on. I know the election time, I haven't really spoken a lot of this, the election. I haven't told you to go vote or to make an impact or anything like that, because we have so much coverage and so much knowledge that is inundated on us between traditional and non-traditional news sources that it can be so overwhelming. So I'm really not going to mention it, but I know that there is a lot of uncertainty, and I'm aware of the fears or the hesitations and the disappointments that we all may be feeling. But again, think of that line where it says, life is but a glittering show. I don't know if you could see that. Kong just jumped 3 feet in the air, 4 feet in the air. Oh no, that wasn't even Kong, that was the big cat. Anyways, life is but a glittering show, okay? A lot of this stuff is necessary, but more so leaning on the side of distraction and entertainment, I would say. So just, take everything how it is and rest in reassurance that God has control and power and full glory and responsibility over us and the dominion. Okay, it says here, so glory to him in whose hands is the dominion of all things. So whichever direction we decide to go in these next 4 years here in the States, don't stress out. Don't stress out, okay? Just rely on God. Lean heavily on Him. Lean heavily on His knowledge and His revelations and His love, okay? Don't get so mixed up in all this nonsense. Goodness gracious. And they're driving me crazy this morning, you guys. They just dumped over their whole cat food. Okay, it's a little crazy. I will tell you, like, life is a little crazy. People outside of the U.S., they don't have to worry about this show, right? The glittering show of that is the politicians. So, we take it very, very light. All right, there's a lot of other things going on that we could be paying attention to. Even that, take it very, very light. Don't assign so much power and so much grief to it, because that only makes that issue or problem stronger. So leave it to God. Literally lift your stresses, your worries, your anxieties, if there are any, to God. And if there aren't any stresses, worries, and anxieties, lift up your gratitude and your graciousness and your peace, and thank God that you feel these things. So I'm just going to leave this here. Don't stress yourselves. Be kind to each other. Be the best self you can be. Just, worry about yourself, your household, that type of thing. And, leave the stresses to God. So glory to Him in whose hands is So glory to Him, the dominion of all things. Just making sure I got it right. So glory to Him in whose hands is the dominion of all things, and to Him will ye be all brought back. That's the important part. Death is promised for everybody. You will be brought back to Him. There's no doubt about that. You will be answering to Him in the end. So why not spend your time, the majority of your time, kindling that relationship, all right, spending time with Him, remembering, okay, asking Him for assistance, celebrating His praises, because you will be brought back in the end to Him. So very, very important to, answer to one person. Don't worry about too many other things. Let me take just a little 5-minute break. Kong? See, okay, this is a problem at this point. We have some problems going on, and I need to